Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Ghoulish with me, Max Booth, a host. Today on the program I have Sadie Hartmann coming back. This time she is talking about the origin story of the really cool Sylvis Night Films, which is basically kind of a monthly subscription loot box. But it's centered around horror fiction, anything that's spooky, that you can also read. Sadie is a good friend of mine, and this is, I think, the third time she's been on the podcast in, 26 episodes now. I like when she's on. It's always fun to talk to Sadie. I will admit we recorded this episode late last year, I think. So we do kind of promote the February loot box, which included a book I published, Jessica McHugh's The Green Kangaroos. Obviously, you can no longer get that box because, well, that's how time works. However, you can still buy The Green Kangaroos. We just re-released it for the 5-year anniversary with a brand new cover, a introduction, a bonus short story at the end. I will have a link to it in the show notes. Jessica McHugh's The Green Kangaroos. By golly, ain't that fun to say? It is a blast to say. But that's enough saying that, because it's time to listen to my conversation with Sadie right now. Oh yeah, I have to do a spooky laugh now to sign me out. That's how this goes. Okay. Now, Sadie, you do fuck me. Let me do that again.
That stays. Matt.
Okay, it stays. You run a company. It's called Night Films. What is that?
So Nightworms, we have officially celebrated our 1-year anniversary, and I can safely say that it is a curated horror fiction subscription service that comes to your door every month.
Now, what if I have a mailbox? It doesn't go to the mailbox at all?
We've had some people tell us that their mailman tries to stuff it in their mailbox, and I would definitely try to tell USPS workers listening to this show that maybe they should just leave it on the doorstep.
That's mostly my audience, so it's a good PSA. I don't know why I kept trying to say PTSD.
USPS PTSD.
That's my little podcast. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me not too long ago that made me think of the name of your company. And I think somehow it ties in, but I'm not positive how, so perhaps you will know.
Okay.
I do the night shift at the hotel, as you might know.
I do.
I never stop talking about it. One night, it's maybe 1, 2 a.m., this guy walks into my lobby and he has a plastic grocery bag. And he holds it up to me, and inside the bag is nothing but, fucking dozens of these insects he's dug up from outside the hotel. And he tells me, well, he poses the question, how much for your room? And I said, how much what? And he points at the bag, and I said, oh, we don't accept those, man.
Yeah, what?
Yes, this is, 2 a.m. A man walks in and he wants to exchange insects for your room. Did you do this somehow? Is this some type of odd marketing tactic you've
Well, first of all,
devised?
I have some questions. This has definitely introduced some questions. First of all, he was wanting to exchange the bugs for the price of staying in a room. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so were they in some way valuable?
No, I think
Like,
he just dug them up outside. I think they were just night worms.
oh, they were night worms? Well, he might have gotten one of the postcards that we put in people's packages that says that all the worms that we include in the package are valuable.
Is that true? Do you include insects in each package?
Yeah, edible
That's
ones.
oh nice. I
Hmm.
mean, any insect is edible.
Well, that's debatable.
Okay. So I did not accept any of his bugs, but I did ask him if he wanted some food because I'm pretty positive he was homeless. So I gave him some apples. He got really excited. He said, "Ah, yes, my bugs will love these." And he took the
Oh,
apples and he left.
I think you should write a short story about this.
I'm afraid to. What if he comes back wanting like royalties?
That could happen.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just something that I think about a lot, especially whenever I see the name of your company.
Yes, we do have a hashtag, and sometimes in the hashtag, there is literal nightworms in the hashtag.
Explain yourself. What do you mean by
Okay,
that?
so hashtag nightworms on Instagram or Twitter can sometimes produce some interesting results. So there are some like, oh, we're talking about fishermen again, but there are some fishermen who I guess use night crawlers, maybe is the connection, but they do tag it with night worms and it's like bait or something. But they're pretty few and far between. Most of the pictures in the hashtag are unpackaging photos and such.
Have you ever gone fishing?
Yeah, I used to fish all the time with my dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I
he'd wake me up super early in the morning and we'd go fishing.
cool. I've gone fishing once, and I will tell you about this, but later on. I'll
Okay,
I'll
okay,
save it because we have to
okay.
promote some cool stuff. So
Yes.
who for those who want to listen to a terrifying fishing story, stay tuned. You gotta listen to what else we have to say. Now, walk me through the beginning of this company. How did it happen? Why did it happen?
Okay. So if you'll remember, there was a horror subscription company. Um, I don't know the inception of the company or when exactly their run was, but it was called the Nocturnal Reader Box. And Ashley and I were chosen as reps for the company after they had been in business for several months. Um, and so we would get their packages and unbox them and promote them and such. Um, I want to say maybe after about a year, the Nocturnal Reader Box stopped delivering books and services to their customers. And they were also getting into a little bit of trouble um, with different authors and such for unlicensed merchandise. So I remember specifically one instance where they made an enamel pin and it was kind of linked to a work from Brian Keene. Um, and they had not asked Brian for permission to use the pin in the package. There was a conversation that the owners had had with Brian, but it really wasn't negotiated. And they went ahead and did the pin without really nailing down the specifics with Brian. And so what ended up happening was they just had this huge downhill decline in membership and also reputation. And Ashley and I, who is my business partner for Nightworms, had to kind of distance ourselves from the company because they were just up to some really shady activity. They ultimately stole thousands of dollars from publishers and customers. they folded the company and they sort of disappeared off of like social media and stuff, thankfully. Um, and then I want to say mm, maybe like 3 or 4 months after that huge debacle, Ashley and I started talking about perhaps, like revisiting the idea of having a horror subscription company just because there was a hole there where they used to be. Um, and the horror genre really just needed um, that service, I think, because it's a way for consumers who maybe really aren't on social media and aren't really in the know about indie horror or brand new horror titles. And so our subscription service sends it to them, and they don't really have to worry about if it's quality or good or whatever because it's curated by people who have a passion and love the horror industry.
I remember now the whole debacle with the pin. That was insane. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it really did cause quite the ruffle. And I think because of that, Ashley and I still to this day experience some skepticism about our company. They're just a little gun shy to start subscribing to something again after Nocturnal Reader Box like basically ripped everybody off. But Brian Keene was like, I just can't say enough cool things about him, but um, lend he lended his name to us or lent. Oh, wait, I don't know. How do you say that?
Leaned.
He leaned his. I don't believe that. In the sense of he and Jonathan Jantz did exclusive and limited signed releases through our company, published by Thunderstorm Books. And then he also just went on to say just amazing, wonderful things about us and has supported us and championed us. And I really just am forever in his debt for that. So it's been really cool to turn this thing around and show people that there are good human beings that can run really successful businesses without stealing people's money and doing unlicensed merchandise in their packages.
Now, has the temptation to just steal from someone happened yet?
Well, I did make a pin of your face.
Oh hell yeah! What box is that going to be in?
The next one, February, it's just a big image of your face that people can wear on their jean jacket.
Can I get one?
No,
Fuck.
no. Sorry.
That's okay. I have plenty of Max pins.
Yeah, they're highly collectible.
Yeah, I mean they've been being created since the dawn of time.
No, they haven't.
That's true. Have you done like things besides books in these packages? Are you doing like pins or mugs or hats or thongs or socks? I don't know.
When you say thongs, is that like underwear or things you wear on your feet?
What would you put on your feet?
It's the flip-flops.
I've never heard them called thongs.
Yeah, in California, that's what we call them, thongs.
Not in California, Sadie.
When I lived there, that's what we called them.
Okay. Well, in Texas, we call them flip-flops.
Yeah, people call them flip-flops, but you
Yeah.
can also call them thongs.
I used to wear flip-flops, but then I stopped when I moved to Texas because I decided, I'm in a new state. I'm gonna walk along this highway. So I did, and I had flip-flops on, and they fucking broke half like a mile, maybe 2 miles. Yeah. I don't know. So
yeah, they're not reliable.
And it was like the hottest summer Texas had in 1800 years. So I had to walk back without any shoes. And do you know what happened? I woke up in a ditch. I passed out, Sadie.
From the heat and
Yes.
from like the soles of your flip-flops melting and adhering to your skin?
It was like I was in Stephen King's The Stand.
That's terrible.
It is. So yeah, I don't wear thongs anymore on my feet.
It's weird.
Anyway, do you do you branch out from books? Is what I'm
It,
asking you.
yes, to answer that question, um, we include things that will enhance the reader's experience, but everything is either like a one-time use or a collectible. So we really try to steer away from just useless crap that ends up just being clutter in your house. We don't do mugs. We don't do huge, things that are just knick-knacky things. We don't do t-shirts because we didn't want to get into the whole sizing thing. It's basically just like bookmarks or buttons or stickers or just something artwork that is collectible, or advertisements or coupons just to buy more horror. We have found that our customers just really are invested in the books and want the books, and they want discounts to buy more books. So we really try to cater to that.
That's cool. Uh, when you said one-time use, did you mean like sickles because you can only use them once?
Yeah, or also like tea or hot chocolate, or we just put in our December package, we partnered with Bones Coffee and we included two different kinds of a sample pack of coffee, which is all like, a hot beverage and a good book is like the best experience ever.
I hope you eventually just come up with your own brand of coffee, Night Wilms Coffee.
Mm,
That'd be pretty good.
that would be pretty good.
Hey,
We have had a
I want.
nightworms tea.
Oh, okay. What did that taste like?
Nightworms.
Nice. That was gonna be my joke, but then you took it.
That's because I win.
That's true. You did win that one time.
Did you want to talk about how there's something kind of special in our February package that you might have something to do with?
Nah, it's okay.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, I do. Yes, yes. Go ahead and tell me
Okay,
what's
so our
happening.
our February package is called Addicted to Horror, but it also is going to dabble in the theme of addiction horror, which Ashley and I both kind of stumbled on around the same time. We read Something Borrowed, Something Blood Soaked by Krista Carmen, and she has a story in there called Liquid Handcuffs, and it is probably one of the more memorable stories in that collection. And Ashley and I both talked about it for a really long time about um, just how terrifying it would be if you were someone who had never experienced like hard drugs or illicit drugs and you were kidnapped and then forced to do illicit drugs. Like, it's a terrifying concept. Um, and both Ashley and I were uh, just fascinated with it. And then we had read some other kind of drug themed horror over the course of last year. And so we decided to do a package featuring some of that genre. And it's a little bit controversial. We're a little bit worried that people who may be triggered by an addiction story would not want to purchase the package. But so far, because we've done a few like pre-spoilers, people know that they're getting the collection Lullabies for Suffering, um, which is an anthology with the drug addicted or addiction horror theme. But we're also getting a book from your publishing house called The Green Kangaroo. Did you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
I did. The Green Kangaroos by Jessica McHugh. Well, it's funny to say Jessica McHugh's The Green Kangaroos is a science fiction, cyberpunk, spooky drug addiction novel that takes place in, I think, 2099. And it's about a man addicted to a fictional drug called Atlas, and the only way to use it is to inject it directly into one's testicles.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. There's a lot of genital mutilation in the book, which is something I think little fans will appreciate.
I never know if you're being sarcastic.
I mean, you're the one including it in this package, so I hope you know, Sadie, that's what
I
it's about.
I do plan on reading it, but we also include books that we haven't read but that we would buy.
I am
Um,
being 100% genuine. Yes, there's a lot of mutilation, a lot of drug injection into genitals, and it's pretty insane. It takes place on the rough streets of Baltimore, and Jessica McHugh is an insane writer. She never writes the same type of book twice. As an example, we've also published a book she wrote called The Train Derails in Boston, and that's an erotic haunted house novel. So you never know what you're going to get when you read something by Jessica McHugh. But I mean, I know because I published it.
well, and that's sort of my favorite aspect of horror. I do get a lot of people ask me, like, hey, do you ever get sick of reading one genre? Like, do you ever miss, you know, dabbling in fantasy or science fiction or whatnot? And I can get all of those aspects out of one genre. Like, there's so many different subgenres of horror that sometimes they kind of cross over into all the other genres for me. I don't feel like I lack for anything in the horror genre.
Absolutely. Nothing puts me to sleep faster than like reading a 1,000 page high fantasy novel. That's
With
just not
like
me.
full extensive world
Yeah.
building and like
Ugh.
names you can't pronounce, like that sounds like a nightmare.
I have to imagine when someone comes up with like the names in those books, they just think, okay, I'm gonna write the name Douglas, but now I'm gonna take all the vowels out, and that's a name.
Yeah, I actually read and reviewed a book called, and I'm totally going to throw it under the bus. It's called The Throne of Glass. Everybody seems to love this book on Bookstagram. I It has a key in the back of the book to explain to you exactly how to pronounce the names. That's how complicated and messed up the names are. And you're not, I mean, even if you read this key, you're not going to remember how to say those names. You're going to be constantly turning it back and looking at it to get it correct, or you're going to stumble over it for the entire book. And that's what I did. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia now, and it's almost too many books in this goddamn series.
right,
Eight
exactly.
books.
No, no, I
No,
gave up after the first one.
I gave up after the Wikipedia page.
It also said, not to get totally off topic, but it also said that it was about an assassin, and I was like, hell yeah, a female assassin! I want to read about some chick kicking everybody's ass. And then you read it, and she basically like goes to some castle and turns into a princess who like fawns over boys and has like a love triangle within like the first 30 pages.
I refuse to read books about assassins because assassination is a crime, and I don't find that appropriate at all.
Wow. That completely took me off like my game.
Um, what else? Green Kangaroos. Anything else? Oh yeah, we just reissued a second edition of the book to celebrate its fifth year anniversary. So in the package for Night Realms, it's going to be the second edition with a brand new front cover, a brand new introduction by Milk Matthews, whose anthology is going to be in the package, I believe.
Yeah, awesome. Great
Yeah.
connections. Like that is one of the other cool things that Ashley and I really love about curating these packages is that we find all of this connectability within the genre and within the community and just the support that various different publishers and authors like show to one another has been probably like the most exciting part. We'll approach a publisher and say, "Hey, we're doing this theme and we're including this book," and just the response that we get from people being like, "Oh, I would love to be in a package with them," and we can sign some book plates, and just the community itself has just been overwhelmingly supportive of Nightworms. I can't say enough good things about everybody that we've worked with over the last 2019. It's been great.
That's great that the Hill, and I agree. This community is much larger than one would expect, but we all seem to know each other somehow.
Hmm.
Like as
Yeah.
an example, I think it was like last year, I was in the process of talking to Josh Mallerman on a Facebook Messenger. We were talking about something, and then I get an email from a website called Crime Reads, which is a website I write for sometimes, and it's the lady who runs the website. She's emailing me, "Hey, I know you write the spooky stuff. Do you want to interview this guy named Josh Mallerman? I just got an email from the publisher," and I'm like, "Josh, look at this email I just got."
You're like, yes, please. Thank you.
And she was like, "Oh wow, I didn't know the community was so well connected like that."
Yeah, that's I think too, just because I had been reviewing uh within the genre of horror before we opened the business. I did have a lot of connections to various different authors and publishers and such. And so when Ashley and I launched Nightworms and then started asking around for partnerships, it was like talking to a friend, like, hey, like we're doing this thing. Do you want to be a part of it? And it was just cool because they knew us. So that was just sort of an added benefit and perk of already being established in the community and then launching into a business. I did want to talk about how on the website we're really trying to have this secondary sort of aspect of Nightworms where we're promoting it through a whole team of reviewers. So I don't want to say it's like a review site like Ginger Nuts of Horror or Sci-Fi and Scary or any of those, but it is a place where I don't want to say amateur reviewers either, but people who are reading and wanting to voice their love of the genre are able to have a platform to go ahead and talk about their experience with their books that they're reading. And so we have a team of about 18 reviewers who don't necessarily publish reviews anywhere other than Nightworms, but it's really cool because they get excited about reading books together as well. So they'll just come together as a huge group and read a book, and then I post all of their reviews on the same blog post. So other people can kind of just get like a really varied opinion of a book by reading the opinions of 18 people in one review. It's really cool.
And I've also noticed a lot of like front cover reveals and various like
Mhm.
interviews as well. I mean,
Mhm.
from like an outsider's perspective, the way I view Nightworms is it's becoming like an umbrella of just love for the genre.
Yeah, that's cool that's coming across because I think um, I'm a business owner second, but I'm a fangirl first. I just have huge amounts of respect and love and passion for the genre, and just want to see it be successful. Whether or not Nightworms lives or dies, like I will always be here as a cheerleader for horror, and that's really what the company. I would say that's like a huge part of our mission statement. Besides just running the business.
Yeah. Do you have like a plan going forward? Like, oh, in 2 years, I want this company to be doing this.
We're working on a secret project, but I
Ooh,
don't really want to. I don't know how much I want to talk about it at this point, but
that's
we
fine.
do have a secret project coming for 2020 potentially.
Can I guess what it is?
Sure.
Okay. Fuck. Oof. I'm gonna say in the month of April, you will have a box that includes at least one book.
How did you do that?
Oh my god. I did hack your email. I do apologize. It was really easy to guess the password.
Yeah, that's because I used your name. That's our
Yeah.
password.
I was
Max
gonna
Booth
I
the
was gonna
third.
talk to you about that. That's kind of creepy, but
Sorry.
It's okay. Anything else to promote with the company before we end this?
I will say that I was thinking about going to Scares That Care this summer as Nightworms and promoting it, but I also want to go as a fangirl and talk to all my favorite authors and get books signed and all that. So my first Scares That Care appearance is going to be as Sadie Hartmann, the fangirl. I'm going to save a Nightworms trip for another time, but I'll be there.
I might. I
You
might
really
not.
should.
I want to, but also I have no money, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe you could acquire some before
That's a good
that
idea.
time.
That's a great idea. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
How can folks find you online?
They can go to nightworms.com and they can also follow us on social media under that name, Nightworms. They can sign up for our newsletter, which is available to get involved in off of our website, or they can email us at nightwormsreviews@gmail.com.
Now, is Nightworms on TikTok?
We don't have a Nightworms TikTok, Max.
Not yet. Okay.
Do you have like some kind of stock in that company?
I did invent it, yeah.
Yeah, you seem like a fan.
As you said, I need to get some money, and the only way it's going to happen is if I get some more people to subscribe.
Yeah, everybody, open up a TikTok account today.
Go TikTok. Now, I did promise I would tell you my fishing story before we ended this, so I will go ahead and do that now. As a young rowdy child, my brother took me fishing. We went to a bridge in town, and the bridge was this old rickety bridge, and below the bridge was this polluted lake that was green. It was disgusting. If you stuck your hand into it and came back out, you would be missing flesh. It was that type of lake. It was the type of lake that made a three-eyed fish, just like from The Simpsons. And if you looked into it from above on top of the bridge, you could see a bicycle just on the bottom of it, and that belonged to one of my other brothers. But sadly, the brother I went fishing with took that bike and threw it off the bridge many years before, because as I said, he's a piece of shit. His name is James Brown. So he took me fishing, and I caught a fish. I caught a, oh my god, what is it called? A catfish? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, catfish.
Oh my god. I've been catfished.
That's another story for another time.
Next podcast, I'll tell you how I got catfished. But so I caught this catfish, and it was still fine, but we didn't know what to do with it, so we took it home. I put it in this grocery store bag, and we put it in the freezer of our house, and we just, I guess, forgot about it.
Oh.
I don't think we knew what we were doing. He was supposedly a fishing pro, but like I said, he's a shithead. His name is James Brown. So we left him. I don't know what the general of this catfish was. We left it in the freezer, and many hours passed, and my parents came home, and my mom opened the freezer. She said, "Oh, what's in this bag?" And she pulled it out of the freezer, and it began flopping, and she screamed and threw it across the kitchen, and it died.
That is a really sad story.
Yeah, it is. Well, I end all of my podcasts with a bit of a sad story.
I'm curious as to when you say that your brother's a shithead and his name is James Brown, is it he's a shithead because his name is James Brown, or he's appropriately named James Brown because he's a shithead?
It's just unrelated. I just find it funny. His name is actually James Brown. He's also just a shithead.
I love that still entertains you. All these years later, it's still really great that his name is James Brown.
I'll be honest, we grew up calling him Jim, and I didn't know his name was James until I was like 12.
Oh.
And then I didn't connect the James Brown until many years later. I was like, wait a minute, it's like that guy.
Exciting revelation.
Yeah. I don't know why we called him Jim. That's not his name. No one else calls him Jim.
Well, not if you have a name like James Brown.
That's probably why.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a shithead. This has been Ghoulish. Thank you for doing this episode, and go subscribe to night rooms and get some drug addiction fiction. Oh shit, that rhymes. And that was Sadie Hartmann talking about night rooms. Obviously, you can no longer get the February box, but good news, they'll open for pre-orders on the April box, which is celebrating the fiction of Tim Levin and Grady Hendrix. It looks like a pretty damn cool box. Link will be in the podcast subscription. Also, go pick up Jessica McHugh's The Green Kangaroos 5-year anniversary edition, baby. And please leave a review of Ghoulish on iTunes and any other place. We need some reviews. Give us the reviews. And please, no matter what, live spooky. Die spooky.